The ancient prophet Enoch possessed a remarkable gift of sight, granting him the ability to perceive truths hidden from all other eyes in a world long forgotten. Yet, Enoch's visions were not always filled with tranquility and beauty. Often, they were steeped in gloom and sorrow. An angel named Uriel revealed one such haunting vision to him. Uriel was a stunning being, adorned with the wisdom of ages, and his wings sparkled like the brightest stars in the night sky. He appeared before Enoch, his voice resonating with both strength and authority. "Enoch," Uriel proclaimed, "I have something of utmost importance to show you. It concerns the union of angels and women. These angels are leading humanity astray through their various forms, corrupting the hearts of men and turning them to worship the demons they exalt as gods. Their influence spreads across the earth like an insidious plague." As Enoch listened to Uriel's words, a profound sorrow filled his heart. He understood that what he was about to witness would be deeply troubling. Yet he braced himself and followed Uriel. They journeyed to a bleak and desolate realm, where darkness shrouded the ground in an oppressive blanket. Uriel explained that this was the prison of the fallen angels, waiting for the day of their judgment. Uriel continued, "They shall remain here until the great judgment day, when their transgressions will be reckoned and their existence will be brought to an end." As Enoch scanned the dark surroundings, he noticed shadows flitting among the gloom. These were the spirits of the fallen angels, restless and tormented, trapped in a fate they could not escape. "What about the women?" Enoch whispered, his curiosity piqued. At this, Uriel's expression darkened. The angels also condemned the women who fell for them, bearing children in their wake. They will transform into sirens, cursed sea creatures whose enchanting calls lead sailors to their doom. A chill ran down Enoch's spine at the thought. He had heard tales of sirens before, but he had never contemplated their tragic origins. Once innocent and pure, these women were now doomed to a life of sorrow and despair. As Uriel spoke, a vision unfolded before Enoch's eyes. He saw the wives of the fallen angels metamorphosing into sirens. Their eyes shimmered like the ocean, and their long, flowing hair made them breathtakingly beautiful. Yet, beneath that alluring exterior lay profound anguish. No man could resist the captivating melodies of the sirens, and entranced sailors would steer their ships toward the seductive songs, only to meet their demise upon the jagged rocks below. These once loving mothers and wives had become instruments of death, their haunting cries a curse that echoed only grief. Enoch watched in horror as the scene played out before him, feeling the pain of the sirens. He stood helplessly as ship after ship crashed against the cliffs, and the anguished cries of the lost sailors filled the air, reverberating with the weight of tragedy. In his vision, Enoch witnessed the world's end. He saw the final judgment, where the fallen angels stood before a formidable court, held accountable for their grave transgressions. He watched as the curse of the sirens came to a close, their reign of terror extinguished. He beheld the lives shattered and hearts broken, the anguish and suffering that these wretched beings had wrought upon humanity. As the vision gradually faded, Enoch returned to the desolate realm with Uriel. The angel's countenance reflected deep sadness and grief. "Why must it be this way?" Enoch asked, emotion trembling in his voice. Uriel placed a comforting hand on Enoch's shoulder. "It is the price of corruption and disobedience. The fallen angels brought ruin upon themselves and all they touched by choosing to defy the Creator. But do not despair, Enoch. Hope still remains. A new beginning awaits. Alongside the great judgment, justice will prevail, and the suffering shall cease." Though his heart remained heavy, Enoch nodded in understanding. He recognized the arduous path ahead, but felt a profound sense of duty to share his revelations. He was the sole witness to this truth, the only one entrusted with such a vision. Upon returning to his people, Enoch spoke of the sirens who lured sailors to their doom, warning them of the hidden dangers beneath the water's surface. He urged his people to remain steadfast and resolute in the face of the impending great judgment. Meanwhile, the king of the Chaldeans often glorified the ancient city of Babylon, a symbol of magnificence and splendor. Babylon boasted grand palaces, towering fortifications, and bustling marketplaces, representing the pinnacle of Chaldean pride, a seemingly unstoppable bastion of wealth and power. Yet, amidst the accolades, a prophet had foreseen a different fate, one that foretold a darker and more dismal future for this great city. The prophet proclaimed that Babylon, which the Chaldean monarch had glorified, would ultimately mirror the fate of Sodom and Gomorrah, cities obliterated by God's wrath. This mighty metropolis would face destruction, its once glorious splendor reduced to mere ruins. The audience listened in disbelief, unable to fathom their cherished city facing such a grim destiny. The prophet painted a haunting image of desolation and despair. It will not be inhabited forever. Generations will pass without a soul entering its gates. No shepherds will rest in its fields, and the Arab caravans will no longer traverse its streets. Instead, the opulent homes will become the lairs of wild beasts, filled with constant unrest. As he elaborated on the creatures that would inhabit the ruins of Babylon, the prophet's vision grew increasingly ominous. The once bustling streets would lie empty, echoing with the mournful tunes of the sirens fading into silence. In the shadows, demons would dance in delight at the city's demise. Strange and terrifying beings, like donkey centaurs, would roam, while hedgehogs made their nests in the crumbling structures. With urgency, the prophet warned of this impending calamity. Destruction is fast approaching and will not hesitate. Babylon's grandeur will soon become a distant memory, replaced by decay and silence. The crowd struggled to absorb the message. How could Babylon, the magnificent jewel of the Chaldeans, become a wilderness where mythical creatures sought refuge and untamed animals prowled? The vibrant, lively city they knew seemed a world away from the chilling reality the prophet described. Yet, his words served as a solemn warning. No amount of strength could shield Babylon from divine judgment. The city's pride and arrogance would seal its fate, transforming the once great metropolis into a haunting vision of ruins and desolation. Exploring the character of Naamah in the Book of Enoch unveils a tapestry of interpretations that enrich our understanding of ancient narratives. Various traditions offer differing perspectives on her role. In some, she emerges as a seductive figure, while in others, she embodies redemption and virtue. In 1 Enoch 19:2-3, Uriel references the daughters of men who were seduced by the angels, resulting in a sin that ultimately led to the angels' downfall. This passage introduces the perplexing notion that the wives of these angels would transform into sirens, an idea that has puzzled scholars for generations. For instance, Michael Black confronted the challenge of accurately translating this concept, ultimately choosing to retain the Greek term sirens in his work. This choice highlights the complexities inherent in interpreting such ancient texts. Interestingly, while Targum Isaiah 13 verse 21 describes desert owls as beautiful creatures, Black pondered whether the original text might have referred instead to daughters of loveliness. This contemplation invites further exploration into how the character of Naamah and her connections to the sirens might reflect deeper themes of beauty, temptation, and consequence in the broader narrative. By delving into these interpretations, we uncover not only the enigmatic nature of Naamah, but also the intricate relationships between divine beings, humanity, and the consequences of transgression. Each layer adds depth to our understanding of ancient mythology and its resonance with contemporary themes of seduction, transformation, and redemption. A compelling argument can be made for interpreting the original Aramaic as referring to the daughters of Naamah. Naamah, a figure deeply embedded in various traditions, appears in Jewish folklore and Gnostic literature as Noria, carrying complex connotations. If the daughters of Naamah are indeed referenced in 1 Enoch 19:2, for this could prompt a reevaluation of their roles as potentially redemptive beings rather than mere seductresses. This perspective aligns with a minority viewpoint found in ancient texts, which suggests that these women, perceived as corrupted and deceived, might ultimately find salvation. Scholars such as Strumsa and Pearson discuss the backlash against Naamah's negative portrayal, arguing that Gnostic interpretations of figures like Noria could reflect a reversal of earlier stereotypes, transforming them into more virtuous or redeemable characters. Acknowledging Nyama's presence in 1 Enoch would significantly influence our understanding of the text. It would imply that the dichotomy between the sons of God and the daughters of men embodies a richer Jewish discourse than previously recognized. This division highlights a well-known narrative of conflict and potential salvation, often interpreted as representing the Sephites and Cainites. Moreover, this interpretation positions the story of Nyama and her daughters in 1 Enoch as one of hope and restoration, rather than solely a tale of seduction and downfall. This suggests that the text preserves an ancient perspective viewing these women as redeemable, a notion that later Gnostic thinkers could have developed rather than merely overturned. Interpreting 1 Enoch 19:2 as referring to the daughters of Nyama offers a fresh lens through which to view the narrative. It emphasizes an archaic and possibly unique understanding of these women as significant players in the interplay between humanity and the divine, transcending their roles as seductresses. This viewpoint not only paves the way for later Gnostic reinterpretations, but also deepens our understanding of the intricate relationships between angels and humans in early Jewish theology. I appreciate your viewing.